What I'm seeing in Kim is she's reestablishing some things within herself, her identity. She's got a glow back in her and a skip in her step again.
I'm feeling so lonely right now, isolated, disconnected. Even as I write this, I want to cry, but the tears won't come. I know I need to make some changes, and I'm not even sure yet really what that looks like. So I'm just trying to figure out my life.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Listen, it is Tuesday, June 21st. Listen, have you guys been watching the new season of Welcome to Plathville? Can you believe it's already the 4th season? I have to be honest, I did not think that this series would last after the first 2 seasons because the ratings were so bad. And now here we are 4 seasons in, and the show is now in the top 10 of cable shows on Tuesday. It could be because they're also on the same night as Little People Big World, which happens to be a good ratings draw for TLC. So they may be benefiting from their position. Welcome to Plathville has never been one without drama, and this season is absolutely no different. I could have done a million episodes about this or a million recaps, and I just sort of want to start with this right here. We're like 5 or 6 episodes in, and if you haven't been watching, Barry and Kim Plath, the quiverful fundamentalists who were traveling as a band, and they made their CDs, and they didn't let their kids watch TV, and they lived on a farm, and they believed in their kids not having access to anything that would potentially hurt them, and all of that, well, they don't even exist anymore. It's funny how a little bit of fame, a little bit of money, and a little bit of attention can change your entire, perspective on life, because suddenly Kim Plath is in the middle of what appears to be a transition in her life where half of her kids have grown up and are of age. The other half are still at home, underage, 3 to be exact, 4 that are under the age of 18, 3 girls and a boy. The older kids have all but separated from the fundamentalist world. So Olivia and Ethan have moved down to Tampa with Mariah, who's living with them, and Olivia's brother, Nathan. So we meet Nathan for the very first time. This season, though, Kim and Barry are separated. Who would have seen this coming when we met them 4 seasons ago? This is the mother that previously was super, super judgmental about relationships. She had made things so bad with her daughter-in-law, Olivia, that Olivia wanted to move out of state to get away from her mother-in-law, as well as they told her that she had evil spirits in her body because of the way that she was treating them. And they said that their faith made them, very conservative, so their kids couldn't do anything, right? Well, now Kim says that Barry went away for like a week with the kids, took them on a vacation, and she stayed at home. And during that time, she realized for the first time after 25 years that she's not happy. She said that she's never had a moment to herself in 25 years because she's had so many kids, that she realized that she actually had the time to consider that life wasn't exactly how she wanted it to be. She wasn't happy with Barry, and she realized that she and Barry got married very, very quickly. They went on to have kids very, very fast, and they went into a world of extreme fundamentalism, quiverful doctrine. They were not a part of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, but they were part of what's called more of a Reformed Legalist Baptist movement that ascribes to the quiverful ideal of having as many kids as possible. And they are very strict in their beliefs around the patriarchy. You know, Ethan and Olivia courted, whereas other kids have been allowed to date. So Olivia and Ethan are dealing with what appears to be sort of the struggle of two kids getting married very young, barely knowing each other, and basically being arranged by their parents. Kim, seeing the changes in her kids and having a bit of time to herself, realized, she says, in tonight's episode, which I've already watched, she said that her mom was so not strict in her life that she feels like after a little bit of reflection, she's been able to realize that she did the exact opposite of what her mom did for her. And she over sheltered her kids in an effort to have them not be exposed to the life that she was exposed to as a child. Kim has stated repeatedly that there was something in her childhood that was so bad that her mom exposed her to that she didn't want to have that happen to her kids. She's never said what it is, but she did go to college. She was kind of a partier. She says her mom was an alcoholic, which placed her in some not so great positions. So Kim, when we started the season, is wearing mini skirts. She's opened a dance studio. Her kids can eat ice cream. They can watch TV. They can have phones. They are not strict anymore about what's happening at the house, and they're not as strict about processed food. Remember, this is the family who became famous because Mr. Ethan had never had a soda. He'd never had a can of Coke. And that was like Barry's claim to fame, is saying, our kids have never had a can of Coke. Like, they were proud of that. So Kim, now at 49 years old, opens up a dance studio, which I don't know how busy they are. It's in Cairo. She says that she's doing this because she was never able to find a place for her to take dance, and she wanted to take ballet. So she's teaching dance, and she is in the process of separating from Barry. So this season has been dealing with their split, and then there's been a lot of rumors online that this is somehow faked for television because they needed to stay relevant. You know, I actually sat in that for a second and I thought, is it possible that they would fake a split for ratings? And I thought that would be so cruel because they literally have their little kids on there crying. So if they're faking this for drama for the show, that is like the worst thing a parent could do. I'm going to hope that they're not faking it, but I will say I've been consistently checking court records and there has been no filings at all at this point for a divorce. One of my subscribers was telling me that in the state of Georgia, you actually have to file for what's called a legal separation, though I'm not sure if that's true because I've had other friends get divorced in the state of Georgia and they haven't gone through that. So there's been no legal documents filed for the two of them. So at this point, they are technically still married. It's unclear like where they're at because next week, Kim sort of drops the bomb that she's thinking about divorcing Barry. The kids are sort of split on this decision of where they feel things are at. Ethan and his parents are still on horrible terms and they don't really speak. Micah and Mariah are kind of on the side of do whatever's right for you, both understanding that Kim changed her life dramatically when she met her dad. So Kim said that she met Barry and they got involved in this world. And part of me wonders if Kim was drawn to Barry as sort of an antithesis of what she experienced growing up. Gets involved, has 9 kids, 8 now still living because Joshua passed away a couple, in a horrible accident years ago. So she likely didn't have time to really think about what she was thinking and feeling. But it is so bizarre to see such a turnaround because this is the same woman in the first season that was giving Mariah crap for what she wore. She didn't like that Mariah wore shorts. She made fun of Mariah for wearing jeans. Now the girls all wear jeans. Now the girls all get to eat ice cream. They drink soda. They eat they literally ordered pizza this season. This is not the same welcome to Plathville, we're living on a farm life. They live in a nice house that's like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. They've moved into town. It's a way different vibe. What is also happening in the middle of this is that Barry is sort of, y'all, I don't know about this, but again, this is editing. Barry is looking very manipulative, and maybe I just haven't seen the side of him, and I'm no Kim Plath fan, but he had made the decision to tell the kids about the separation without even talking to her about it because he decided that it was the right thing to do, giving him the opportunity to plant the idea that this wasn't what he wanted and that was what mom wanted, and that he was going to give mom space, and that, you know, he bought mom the dance studio despite the fact that he knew she might leave if he did it. God forbid she get a little bit of independence. Kim has worked from home, or has been a stay-at-home mom, homemaker her whole life. She's bred 8 kids, and she's been part of this fundamentalist ideal where I honestly, if this is for real, I'm not a huge fan of Kim, but the Kim we're seeing this year, I can actually relate to a little bit more than the Kim we've met in the first few seasons, because now you kind of see a side of Kim where it's like, well, maybe she got involved in something and now she's realizing that this isn't what she wants. And I'm always going to commend a woman that gets sucked into these patriarchal cults like what she was involved in and makes a decision to break away. Barry's treating this very much like his kids are his therapists, which is horrible. He's like relying on Lydia for advice. He's having the kids give him insight and talk to them about what he thinks about the mom. The kids are like in the middle of it. Kim, for her part, I think is actually handling this a lot better than Barry because it was her decision. But I also have been noticing that Kim, and this might be not my opinion, but I think Kim is being more diplomatic in that she's telling the kids they don't have to take a side. She just wasn't happy. She's not in love with their dad anymore. And this is just like what she needs to do. The kids are struggling though, because this is a group of kids that grew up in a fundamentalist world where divorce was not an option. And Amber, their daughter, who's now 13, was talking about how growing up, she never even had to think about divorce because her parents just didn't think it was an option. Like, you got married, you dealt with all the good times and the bad times, and then it was like, you didn't get a divorce. It didn't matter how bad things got. So, there's so much I can't figure out. First of all, we know that a lot of stuff that happens on reality TV is super, scripted and fake. I don't know that I would believe if a family is going to go to the lengths that they are, where they're living in separate houses and they're creating this narrative for ratings, I don't know if that's true. I can't see a reality show going in that direction, because Olivia and Ethan's split has garnered a lot of attention, and they're still struggling, by the way. Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, Ethan and Olivia seem absolutely miserable. They seem like they got married way too young. They didn't know each other. They don't even seem compatible. They have they just have nothing in common. Olivia has progressed more so outside of the world of fundamentalism, and Ethan, if I'm being honest, looks like a really crappy husband this season. He is looking like the kind of guy that escapes with his cars, is sneaky, keeps secrets, and isn't validating her experience. And she's likely clinging to him in the way that she does that annoys fans because he's not giving her what he needs. I don't know if they'll get a divorce. I don't think that'll happen yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Olivia and Ethan also split up at some point. So this season has also seen us with Micah, who's now living in Los Angeles. He's a model. And on top of that, he is outside of his comfort zone and he's not around any family members. So he's exploring life on his own for the very first time, dating, learning about stuff, enjoying LA. Mariah and Max split up because Max cheated on her. Max lied, made a video on YouTube, which made her angry. She's had a hard time dealing with the split, but she's also been dropping new music and trying to work on herself to get happy, and also is finding herself in the middle of fights between her, Olivia, and Ethan, because she's best friends with Olivia and Ethan is her older brother. Also, in the middle of their split, because Kim had to move out, Barry legitimately admitted to the fact that the kids are not being homeschooled because he's not home, and Lydia has to go home during the day to take care of them, and Kim's not coming home to do the homeschooling. So they are still neglecting their kids educationally, so I'm still not a fan of them there. And I will say this, I'm not a fan of Kim. I just take the side of how it's being handled in terms of the split better with the way Kim's handling it than the way Barry's handling it. I think they're both super toxic and very manipulative, and I think they should get a divorce for the sake like for the sanity of their whole family, and admit that this experiment that they had of sheltering their kids and undereducating them is horrible, and they need to get their youngest kids into school and give them a fair shot at life, because the oldest kids are struggling as a result of their poor choices as parents. So waking up at 49 doesn't absolve Kim Plath of the horrible choices that she made all of those years, nor does it absolve the educational neglect, the likely corporal punishment because of the training up the child stuff, and all the stuff that goes into the quiverful movement, the keeping them isolated and socially stunted. That she doesn't get to walk away from that because she's changing her mind now. It's a step in the right direction, but it's also just like, wow, you made a lot of mistakes, Kim. Tons. But get away from Barry. I have a sense that Barry's not a good guy. Trust me. I don't know what it is. He gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like Barry. So what are your thoughts about Kim wearing miniskirts, getting a divorce maybe, and the kids wearing pants and eating ice cream? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Bye, guys.